Arlene. My voice is a little deep today because yo girl's been sick. But anyways, today I'm going to talk to y'all real quick about Cocoa Beach. If you're wondering if Cocoa Beach is good for solo travel or for surfing, then here's a few notes that I have for when I went to Cocoa Beach. These were questions that I had before going, like is it good for solo travel and for surfing. Let me start with solo travel. Sure, Cocoa Beach is pretty far from Orlando, which is one of the nearest airports, about an hour away or so from Orlando. So if you don't want to pay for an Uber or you don't want to rent a car, if you don't have family that's willing to drive you to Cocoa Beach and you're trying to save money, you might want to find somewhere where you can land directly. For example, even though I know it is a little expensive, San Diego La Jolla, it's pretty close to the airport and you can literally walk to the beach depending on where you stay. You can look for hostels, just make sure they're safe, check the rating. Cocoa Beach is kind of far out if that's what you were wondering. That was the reason why I ended up not doing it solo and I ended up going with family to avoid all that hour-long drive with a random stranger. That was honestly the way I was thinking about it because I wasn't gonna see anybody in Orlando. Moving on, surfing. The whole reason I actually wanted to go to Cocoa Beach is because I was telling my friend like 2 years ago before I even went. I think it was about 2 years, something like that. But I was telling her I wanted to go surf and I wanted to go learn. On Google that Cocoa Beach was one of the best places to go surfing as a beginner. Show Google right here. We went during late July and August. We did do a road trip from where we live, so it was kind of far, like 16-17 hours. That was crazy. It was still fun though. I went because I wanted to know if it was, well, I wanted to surf there. I will tell you one thing, don't go during the summers if you don't want it to rain, because every day that we were there it was either gloomy by I think 3 to 5, like 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It was already getting dark or it started to rain. So if you want to avoid the rain, then I would highly suggest going on a different time of the year where it's not as rainy. And I have heard people who go to and they talk about that when they went it was really rainy during the summer. You are doing or planning a road trip and you're going to pass by Pensacola, I would highly suggest stop. There's free parking. Go enjoy the beach. Just make sure you're at free parking. You don't want your car towed. Beautiful. They have a lot of sandbars. The waves are very low, so it's not really surfable, but that's why we went to Cocoa Beach. Here are some things. I have like this little list, but it's great for beginning surfing. However, I will tell you when I got there, they did not have any like regular boards to rent out because all of them were rented. So I did not get a regular surfboard. I got like the foam surfboard. It kind of reminded me of when I used to play volleyball. It was easier to catch waves based on what the guy said, but here are the cons. You're not doing it as like a real surfer, and I don't want to say like real, you know, in that sense, but it's easier. You're not really picking it up yourself, and I kind of like learning the hard way, with the regular surfboard. So that's one thing. Another thing I would say, if you're planning to go to Cocoa Beach and you expect to see a lot of young people, I saw when I went with my family, I saw mostly families. There was a lot of families and there's not a lot of diversity. The area that we stayed in Cocoa Beach, I'll try to put it here, but it wasn't that nice. You could tell a lot of things were run down. It was kind of like an old school vibe, which I did like, but obviously our rooms were kind of expensive for where we stayed, even though it was considered a resort. It wasn't that nice in my opinion. It needed a lot of cleaning. Another thing you should know is that Cocoa Beach does have a low walk score. So if you want to walk around, especially by yourself, I highly don't suggest it because there are a lot of creeps and trying not to be rude, but just being real, like be careful. When I was walking to places, there was, the souvenir shops like Alvin's Island, I believe, but it's not that walkable. There's not much to do besides the beach, some souvenir shops. It's not like New York City where there's always something to do, so many young people, a whole bunch of beautiful diversity. If that's what you're expecting, I would highly suggest you should go check out like California. There's a lot of nice places and there's a lot more young people. That goes to my point, like 4 or 5, there is not a lot of diversity. So if that's something you're looking for, it was mostly white people and like Hispanics here and there. So if you're looking for something walkable, a nearby airport where it's a lot of young people, it's more singles, there's not a lot of family, or the age, like the median age is more diverse. I would suggest San Diego. That was like my favorite just because it was my first time surfing there. That's why I probably suggest it, since it was my first time, but also I had an instructor, so it was a little easier, safer, and you know, I walked everywhere. This was in La Jolla. So if you want to see that video, you can search up my YouTube and you might find it in the travel section. Cocoa Beach there's a lot of beginner waves. I don't suggest going in the summer if you want to avoid rainy days, because it does get rainy. I think I have some video clips of that. It is a bit spread out, so it's not very walkable, and you can even check the low walk score on Zillow. It gives me country vibes, even though it is the beach. It's just very country. Titusville is nearby, and we met a really cool dude from Titusville. Hey, if you're seeing this. And that there's a lot of families, but if you really want to learn how to surf in Florida or are planning a road trip to Cocoa Beach, if you don't care about pristine beaches or like not a rundown area, other than that, Cocoa Beach is more getaway destinations. I don't want to tell you not to go, but if you are looking for a place that has more young people, more people surfing, then maybe you should go check out a different place. And if you want something that's really close to the airport, then you want to check out some other places. But if you really want to just go see Cocoa Beach and you want to go surf, then I would highly suggest it as well. It's very much up to you, and you have to make the decision for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one taking the trip. And if you want to do it, then do it. Just be safe. That's all I suggest. I have nothing else to say, so that's about it. Thanks for watching, and if this helped you, or if you have more questions, comments, I'll be more than happy to help y'all. So yes, that's it. If you like this video, make sure to give it a good thumbs up and share it with someone.